Hey guys, this video is about JavaScript logical questions asked in interviews. Mostly those interviews are ReactJs interviews, NodeJs interviews, or interviews related to any JavaScript framework. Now those questions are basic JavaScript questions, but they are a bit tricky as you need to understand basic behaviors of JavaScript. Okay, so let's start. So the first question which mostly got asked in interviews is this one. Now here we have just normal for loop, we have set timeout function, and that we have just given timer, that is the one which is pretty less. But here are three gotchas. So first one is like the variable we are declaring. Okay, the second one is the increment, how this increment is happening, like how this logical part is proceeding. And third one is the set timeout with the lowest timers. So first thing you need to understand over here is that loop executes faster than time. Okay, so whatever the count we have for this for loop, this will happen so fast, and the set timeout function which execute after this 1 milliseconds, our loop will execute even before that. The second thing is about the scope. Okay, what it is about the scope, the thing is like we have variable I which is the var. So whenever you declare any variable with a var, it create a global scope. What does that mean is that I variable will have the global copy. So as loop is proceeding, so for the first iteration I will change from 0 to 1 as we are doing I plus plus here, right? Now we have only I variable, but the value of the I will change at each iteration. As you can see, at the first iteration what will happen, we have variable I is equal to 0. It will check that I is less than 3, yes it is less than it, and it will increase the count. Okay, so 0 will become a 1. What is happening, we have set timeout, right? But at this set timeout will start, and it will check, it will actually wait for this second to complete the loop, and after that whatever the value of the I, it will print. But for loop will execute even faster than a time. What will happen is that this loop will execute, okay, at least 3 times, and after that this set timeout function will execute. Okay, now here is the thing. Now if you look into this loop now, you'll understand that every time when we raise the count, first it check for this count if it is less than 3. So as it is starting from 0 now, it will check for the 0, it will check for the 1, it will check for the 2. Since it check for the 2, it is said it, yes it is less than 2, it is less than 3, it will raise it for a 3. And when you have I value is the 3, it will check that I is less than 3, but now I is the 3. At last it will leaves you with the raised count, let's say raised value of I. But after that set timeout will comes in a context, and whatever the value of the I, since I is the global variable, this value of I will console, and this will console the value of the I after executing the loop. Since after loop got executed, as I said, that it will raise to the 3. Okay, last time is raised to 3, and after that it check it is less than 3. So the value going to be the 3 over here. To check, let's go to the browser. Okay, in this browser what I will do, that we will have this. Now if I put this logic over here, I want to look at this thing. The value it is printing is 3. But the thing is, why it is printing 3? Now for that, let's just update this loop. Since loop is update from the 0, we will check if it is less than 1. Okay, if you enter, then it is saying that yes, we are getting count of 1. But what, see, at the first time we have count of I is equal to 0. Okay, it is checked that I is equal to 0, it executed, but after that it raised for the 1, and next time it is checked for the 1 which was the less. So that is why it is going beyond the limit. Okay, since I should be less than 3, but it will go still 3. Now here is the thing, I hope we are done with this question and we understood the behavior, but we can make this question even tricky if we convert this variable var to late. Now here is thing. The thing here you need to understand, let me just copy this. In this particular example, this is kind of same. We have var over here, we have late over here. But if you looked into it, that this variable will create its own copy at every iteration. So yes, loop will execute 3 times, but at every time I will have its own copy. So after 1 second, so what is the copy of the late for this particular loop will print to the console. So the output would be at time the each copy. So at first time the copy of I would be 0, then after the 2, after that the copy of I would be the 3. Okay, so next time even the counter rise till 3, but it did not went after 3, so that is why it will stay till 2 only. Okay, since it is not creating any global variable copy. So if we execute this example inside the browser, okay, here it is. If you go into this, it will see at the first time set timeout comes with the 0, second time 1, third time 2. Since I don't storing any global variable, even though I raise, but we are not printing it inside as a global variable value. That is why 3 is not coming here, but 3 will come at a first example, since I having a global variable which is happening afterwards. Okay, and whatever the value of the afterwards, we are printing through this console. Now there is a third example. Now in this third example, this is a common function say hi, and you can see we are put console log for the name and age variables. We don't have defined these variables above this console. We already just put down over it, but we are declaring this variable after this console. So we are declaring var name is equal to Linda, and then late age is equal to 21. Now the question is what this console log will print. So here are two basic points we must understand, that whenever you create any variable with the var keyword, it will automatically create it in JavaScript before even script execute. So this is how the memory got assigned when we have var, since it is a global variable. So at first time when you have this variable name, at the first time this variable JavaScript consider that we already have it, but when we have a variable we don't have any value to it, it will print undefined for it. Okay, now at the second step, now let's say we don't have this second console, but after that we assigning value Linda to the name variable. Okay, so if you really console after this line, it will give you value of Linda, but the first time you have a variable and you are just doing a console before that var keywords, it will give you undefined. But this thing not happened with the late. Okay, so since for the late we are assigning value of age 21 over here, but script really don't know that we really have this variable before script execute, since this is not a var keyword, right? So at this time it will gives you error. Okay, so since age is the late, and if you trying to fetch value before its declaration, it will gives you error, but for the var it will give you undefined. Now let me just run this example. Okay, I have executed this, I have added this function. Now when I run this, see, at first time for this name it gives undefined, for second it is giving the error. So this is the normal question mostly asked. They just want to know the scope and plus how can we use such variables. Now let's go to the next question. Okay, this is the question in which we have simple function sum a and b. What is the value we pass through sum function, that is a and b, will be get added and returned. So if we just run this script, as you can see here a and b, and if you pass to integer like 1 and 2, or let's say number, it will giving you output of a 3. But you know what the catch, they say that we have this function, we passing 1 as a number and 2 as a string. what's supposed to happen. And as you can see, the output we are getting here is nothing but a string of 1 1 2. Okay, so whenever you doing a operation, when you have one number and one string, rather than adding it, it will do the concatenation. So it will just connect one with the two, and it is considered as a string from the JavaScript. This is something you must have to remember in each interview. Okay, so in case you just want to do the operation like we do, like we want to proceed as per a plus b, but the string should be considered as a number, you just have to typecast it, you have to convert it into the number first. Okay, so this is the normal question, this is the normal type of the question I came across multiple times when I went to the interviews. So yes, I will bring more questions like that in next video, so stay tuned.